Answer is no. You did not consider pausing the rally, correct?
The people that are in charge of protecting the president on that day would never bring the former president out if there was a threat that had been identified.
Well, they did, because we've now identified 3 points in the 20 minutes before the shooting that the threat emerged.
The area, period. Any part of the area.
Again, I would have to go back and check the timeline of when that took place and when the event.
Why didn't you bring the timeline with you today to answer our questions?
I don't have all of the answers on the timelines based on the criminal investigation.
Were you not prepared today to answer our questions?
I am prepared to answer the questions based on the information and wanted to be able to provide.
Do you have a timeline do you have a timeline at all from any of the day?
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
That's shocking. That is absolutely unacceptable. That means you are a failure at your job.
So I was watching the hearing earlier today, much like a lot of you all, and at first, it was satisfying. It was satisfying to listen to them rip into the head of the Secret Service and question her and scold her. It was so satisfying, at least on a surface level, because I'm angry about what happened at that Donald Trump rally. And I'm not just angry because someone lost their life. I'm not just angry because they tried to take out Donald Trump. I'm angry because for the last week or so, they've really been showing their true colors. And when I mean they, I mean the people running this show. They've really put on full display just how corrupt this country can be. In a span of 8 days, they tried to take out Donald Trump, and now they have forced Joe Biden out of the election. Joe Biden didn't step down on his own. Just last week, just 2 days ago, Joe Biden was adamantly saying that he's not dropping out of the race. They forced him out of the race. So what's happening is the powers that be behind the scenes, they're trying to control this whole thing. And it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. They tried to take out the Republican candidate. It didn't work. But now they've successfully taken out the Democratic candidate. No one actually voted for Kamala Harris to be in the position that she's at right now, or the position she's in. So I think a lot of us have felt certain emotions, when it comes to all of this craziness that is transpiring. So on a surface level, it felt satisfying to watch them rip into this lady earlier today. But as you watch, or at least as I was watching, it really starts to set in. You know what? I get all of these people are yelling and screaming and they're putting on a good act. But in reality, this is just political cinema, which is why I named my new YouTube channel Political Cinema. Go subscribe if you haven't already. But everything we watched transpire at that hearing today was political cinema. Because most of the people in that room want Donald Trump out of there. Most of the people in that room would have been happy if Donald Trump did not survive the attempt on his life. And I know that might sound harsh, but that's just the reality of the situation. And I'm going to be honest about that. Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter who was in that room. Most of the people in that room, maybe a handful don't feel that way, but most of the people in that room despise Donald Trump, regardless of what act they put on in front of people. But I tried to place that, to the side of my mind. And I tried to enjoy watching the left and the right come together to just scold this lady like a misbehaving toddler. And it was frustrating watching her response, or lack thereof, because it was clear as day that she came to this hearing with no real intentions of answering basically any of the
My
questions.
first question. Both sides of the aisle today have asked for your resignation. Would you like to use my 5 minutes to draft your resignation letter, yes or no?
No, thank you.
Was this a colossal failure?
It was a failure.
Yes or no? Was it a colossal failure is the question, yes or no?
I have admitted this is a terrible.
This is a yes or no series of questions. Was this a colossal failure, yes or no?
Yes.
Have you provided a list to the Oversight Committee? Yes or
I
no?
will have to get back to you on that.
That is a no. Have you provided all audio and video recordings in your possession to this committee, as we asked on July 15th, yes or no?
I would have to get back to you.
That is a no. You're full of shit today. You're just being completely dishonest.
You know, do you know what Stuart Knight did when he was in charge at the time of the Secret Service? Do you know what he did afterwards?
He remained on duty.
He resigned. He resigned. And Stuart Knight was not a Democratic appointee or a Republican appointee. Look, I'm not questioning your judgment. I just don't think this is partisan. If you have an assassination attempt on a president, a former president, or a candidate, you need to resign. That's what Stuart Knight did. He was a Republican appointee, and he took responsibility. And I think you need to reflect. This is not a question of you. It's a question of the American people. You cannot go leading a Secret Service agency when there is an assassination attempt on a presidential candidate. I would say that about anyone who is running. And so I guess my question to you is, what's the difference between your position and what Stuart Knight did?
What I will tell you, sir, is that I am dedicated to finding the answers to what happened. And like every Secret Service agent, we don't shirk from our responsibilities. I will remain on and be responsible to the agency, to this committee, to the former president, and to the American public.
But is there a reason you wouldn't just do what Stuart Knight did after the Reagan assassination attempt?
I believe that I provided an answer.
There's nothing more that you have to say? I mean, do you really believe at this moment, given how divided the country is and the questions asked, that your service in this role is the best for the nation? I mean, I'm not saying you can't do public service again, you can't do something else again. Do you really genuinely in your heart believe that you being in this role is what's right for America at this
Let me ask you
moment?
one more question. You found explosives in the shooter's possession. Is that correct?
The FBI found explosives.
Do we know who directed this young man how to make those explosives?
I believe that the FBI is still looking into that on their investigation.
Ms. Cheatle, you said that the buck stops with me, and I agree. I don't think you should resign. I think you should have been fired. Ma'am, you are a DEI horror story. I've told my daughter multiple times, my wife and my daughter, we talk to her all the time about how she's going to succeed in life. She'll succeed in life by achieving. Ma'am, you have not achieved today. You've let the American public down. If it was up to me, you'd be gone. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You know, I was thinking that we would come out of this hearing after watching it for hours. I was thinking that we were going to come out of the hearing with, you know, new insight on what actually happened, inside information from the head of the Secret Service. But instead, it's like we came out of this hearing almost more confused than anything. I feel like I know less now than I knew before. How do you do that? How do you have a hearing where the sole purpose of this hearing is to be more transparent to Congress and the members of the government and to the American people about what happened? Yet now we got more questions than we did at the beginning of the hearing. But it's clear that she wasn't planning on answering most of those questions. And I know that right now it's easy to direct our anger and everything at this woman. And I'm not here to defend her. Kimberly needs to step down. I wouldn't trust her guarding my Pepsi or Doritos. And that's her old job, you know. She used to literally be the head of security for like Pepsi. She was guarding potato chips and sodas. And they decided, hey, that's who we want to be protecting the most important people in America. So yeah, she should resign. she should step down immediately. But what I'm not going to do is allow them to use this woman as a scapegoat. Because like I said, today was political cinema. They want you all directing your anger and all of your focus at this woman. But at the end of the day, I don't think this woman is behind the overall plot to take out Donald Trump. Now, did she play a part? I mean, obviously, the Secret Service played a huge role. And I'm not saying the Secret Service did anything. I'm not saying this woman or anyone did anything. It's about what they didn't do. It's about what they didn't do, ladies and gentlemen. You know, everyone thinks that for there to be some type of involvement from the government or whoever, people think that they have to actually be hands-on involved. No, sometimes all they have to do is nothing. That's all they have to do is nothing. And then they can blame it on incompetence. We could all blame Kimberly. It's all Kimberly's fault. No, this is bigger than that. This is bigger than Kimberly. It's bigger than any single officer or Secret Service agent that was out there that day, if you ask me. But yeah, right now, you know, they got these viral clips going of everyone tearing into this woman, and I love to see it because she needs to be held accountable as well. But as I watch these people tear into her, I just know, like, okay, we haven't really gotten any answers from this. Y'all never really thought that we were going to get answers from this. You just want to show that you're concerned and show the public that you're trying to do something. But in reality, a month from now, we still won't know anything about what happened. And the news cycle and everyone else will be focused on the next crazy thing. But for now, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll be talking to you all soon in the next video.